not pulling this face because I still have a cold. I'm pulling this face because of this fucking album. I may as well go straight into this one. There's no reason to pull punches here. I can already feel the stands dressing me up as a baby, then throwing me into a river as we speak. One of the worst albums I've heard thus far this year. It's easily going to be in that top 10 list that I do in December. It's bad. So the debut album caught quite a lot of traction a few years back, Cry Baby, which I thought was bad. I definitely didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. You know, it's just one of those albums that you listen to that you're like, yeah, this is definitely bad, but I don't hate it like everyone else does. Like a good example when David Rowe in his roundup video was like, you know, this Madonna album, it's bad, but I don't hate it like everyone else. That was Cry Baby for me. But the follow-up album, K-12 here, I think is worse. I think it is worse. This is honestly horrendous. I think the album cover is nice though, if that's anything to say. It's pretty nice to look at. A lovely white building there. It's just so lovely to look at. But when you actually dig into the whole shtick, and you know, you realize that she's as a kid waiting for the school bus, the album cover gets a bit uglier and a bit weirder, and just listening to her lyrics, it just all feels so icky and strange. This is just strange. It starts off with Wheels on the Bus, which is an instant red flag for me, because any time a nursery rhyme gets interpolated into a song, a serious song that's supposed to be taken seriously, is just never good. There will be some examples, I'm sure, that work. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but I think the general rule is don't interpolate nursery rhymes into songs. And it somehow does get worse from there. It doesn't remain equally as bad as the first song. Most of the songs following this are worse, I think. Her voice is either really grating, unbearably, you know, sickly to listen to, sometimes really gross at points, just the way she sings, or it's just nondescript. It's really boring. It just doesn't pop out at all. And that to me is really funny, because she burst onto the scene acting like this cool alternative to modern pop, or to just the general, you know, style that you hear in the mainstream, but yeah, she doesn't offer anything at all. So she's not even an alternative. She's just a really personality-less singer. She has nothing unique about her voice. Most of the time she's just like ASMR white noise. Like, she's just nowhere to be found in the mix of the song. And it's crazy to me, because I thought she would have something bubbly to offer, you know, but she doesn't. And like I say, when she's trying to give you something a bit different, trying to bring her voice out there, it makes the worst songs on the album. Class Fight easily being one of the worst songs I think I've heard all year. I am just really disgusted by this chorus here. Again, it might just be the whole character shtick she's got going on. I don't care. I don't want to hear her repeat "go for the throw" over and over again. Just so ugly to me. I just find shock value in music almost always pointless, because it takes quite a lot for me to be shocked, but when the artist is forcing that down your throat, it's even worse, because you're supposed to, you know, get a response out of it, and you're just left thinking, I don't care about this isn't impactful whatsoever. It just sounds disgustingly grotesque. Like, who wants to listen to this? I just don't understand where the audience has come from for this. It's just really not worth your time. Detention is another track that just is, well, the whole "baby, can you meet me in detention tonight" thing is just so lame. Oh my god. The tropical vibe that's going on with the beat as well is just so watery. It really needs way more of a bite to it than that. The whole power dynamic point that she's attempting to make in this song, which I think is really poorly presented in the first place, is completely lost in translation when she's singing like this, and her lyrics just aren't very strong in the first place. The thing about her style that completely fails for me is that it always seems like she's trying to fetishize things as opposed to actually talk down on it and say, no, this is bad. That could be through the fault of my ears, I don't know, but I just don't think her vocal presentation sells whatever she ever tries to say. The fact that she almost entirely sings in this really like dull voice that's supposed to be haunting isn't impactful, because you've got to kind of enunciate some things in some places to show what you're attempting to say, and throw some emotion into what you're saying too. It's funny too because she does attempt to address this on Drama Club at the beginning, where she's talking about how like people completely misinterpret her work and they just get offended so easily by what she does, and they just don't get what she's doing. And I think that's due to your own fault. You're not presenting your work in a way that's understandable at all. If you framed your lyrics better, then you wouldn't have this issue, but you know, that's kind of what you go for. And the thing is that you don't have to change your art for anyone. But, you know, don't be pissy when people don't understand it, when you're presenting it in such a way that isn't easy to understand. I mean, what is this song even attempting to say anyway? You repeat the same words over and over again on the chorus. You know, I never signed up for your drama club. It just gets hammered in to the point where it just loses its meaning, and it just becomes so monotonous. I think a song like Teacher's Pet is totally fine, and you know, it's a topic that's worth discussing, but again, it's just how she words her lyrics. It just gives off this really ugly like eeriness to it that's just so uncomfortable to listen to. Like, I just don't need to listen to a song like this to understand what she's saying. And why she feels like she needs to be a spokesperson on these types of issues anyway, I don't know. I don't know what she thinks she's attempting to do here. This is very similar to Madonna earlier in the year with Madam X, where like her saying these things adds nothing to the conversation. Yeah, we get it. Teacher-student relationships are wrong and disgusting and very, very disturbing to think about. We don't need a song about it. It's literally a law that's embedded that if you get caught doing something like that as a teacher, you're fucking going to prison. So why do you need to make a song about this? It's just so weird to me. We don't need this in a song. You don't need to hit the bare minimum of everything and act like you're changing the world. Saying something that everyone knows is bad doesn't make you a good person. Like, you're just saying what everyone already knows. What is the point? And please at least make the song sound good if you feel like you have to speak on something like this. Just make it better. The hook on Orange Juice is atrocious. It's just inexcusable, honestly. I just don't understand what's so appealing about the squawking like a fucking bird and calling it a hook is normal now. I do think lyrically here there is way more substance than most of the other tracks on the album though. Talking about bulimia, I think it is an important topic to talk about, and I don't begrudge it at all. It's a very serious thing, and I've known people that have had bulimia too, so it is something worthwhile discussing. But I just don't think her very on the nose kind of like, you know, attempting to make the listeners feel uncomfortable with how she words things is the way to do it. It's not the worst way to frame something, and I can at least say it's a worthwhile topic compared to most of this album, but for me I just don't think it lands very well. Yeah, you can tell here that I don't think this album works at all. I think at the core of it all, the biggest issue really is just the performances from Melanie. I think she is just so nondescript, so whispery, and so boring to listen to. She genuinely believes she's doing way more than she actually is, and honestly, I'm just not buying it. I really am not buying it at all. If you're relying too much on shock, then you're more than likely sacrificing your substance. And Melanie, in my opinion, is doing that here, while also making awful, unlistenable, bland as fuck music. 2 out of 10 from me. I think this is really, really awful. Hope you got something out of this album that I didn't. And if you have anything to say, let me know. I'm sure if you're a fan of Melanie, you will have something to say. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for watching the review. Please subscribe. Have a good day. Goodbye.